Thank you. I'll figure that out. All right. I think we are about to get going. It's recording right now. So we should get started. So today, this is our Package Team Weekly Retro, July 26, 2019. Welcome, everyone. Let me switch over to gallery mode so that it's funner for everyone to watch. And we can kick off with what went not so well. I'll start off. I've got, realized I was working too much. I'm backing off, have to back off a little bit. I think work-life balance is really important. It's something I've held to be very important for a long time, and I've talked to everyone about having good balance, and then I'm not doing it for myself. So trying to reduce the hypocrisy a little bit. So that's good, but that's been going better. Second, recognize that we needed to adjust our hiring. And that meant the best option was to move peeps to other teams in order to open up space. Unfortunately, one of our people, so what happened was between when I started, in about a month, I had actually done all my hiring and had everyone at least have a verbal yes. During that time, I was getting up to speed, as we all are, on what the actual problem space was and the technology we'd be using. And I realized that we're going to need people with Go experience. And it wasn't really sustainable to get some percentage of someone else's time from another team, because we would need that support from someone that was really purely focused on that work. Also, during that time, after I'd finished doing that hiring, there was some broader reallocation done of people. So we actually lost a head count or seat or whatever you want to call it. I find those very impersonal terms, but that's what it is. And so instead of having 5 people total, we ended up with 4. So in order to sort of satisfy that, we've had 2 of the people that are joining our team go to other teams instead. And that's awesome, because those people are stoked. They don't have to go through the hiring process, and these people are already vetted and already awesome and already ready to join the team. So that saves those people a lot of time. But yeah, it just means that we don't get the people we had planned or expected to get. So that's a little bit frustrating. Hiring too quickly didn't feel like it was going to be a problem, but apparently it was. And the other thing I have here is we're small enough that we don't need heavy processes for estimation or bug triage, given that we have a couple of engineers in the team. But without some type of process, we risk sort of losing work here or there, or not having a clear idea of what we're doing. And then, although we definitely want to wait towards action, as is the GitLab way, wait towards throughput rather than predictability. Having some predictability is certainly helpful, so we can understand what we expect to get in a milestone or a week or whatever we're doing. So we have a couple of issues going that I mentioned down in the other section, but I'll hand over to Steve.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good week for me, and I think the only general thing is just, like my confidence is still growing, but there's certainly like a ton that I don't know about the code base and code conventions in general, and it's a normal feeling, I think, that probably everyone has, but I feel like a lot of the ways that I am learning the conventions and code base is through feedback in the review, which is a great place to learn that. But I feel like maybe there should be some other avenues that I could maybe learn those things.
You're up next, Nick.
Okay, so yeah, just a couple of things this week. So Tim didn't assign me, but asked me to look into a couple of issues at the beginning of the week, and basically all of them require some degree of back-end work, which meant that they weren't front-end ready and no front-end work could be done on them. And I kind of felt bad about that, because if I had better back-end skills, I could probably do more on those issues and contribute more. But yeah, so it was just a negative from my point, because I guess where I'm used to working, I would just dive in and do the back-end part of it and just power my way through it and resolve the issue at the end, and yeah, it felt a little bit bad not to be able to do that this time, but also good, because that's how you get bad code, you know. So like it's not so bad. And my second one is that the multi-select feature that I think Tim is quite keen to get out there, and it will be a really helpful feature for our users in cleaning up their container images. It's taking a little bit longer to get through maintainer review, just because it's quite a unique piece of UI that doesn't really exist anywhere else in GitLab as far as I can tell, and because of that, like the code there is more complicated than it needs to be. But like this is one of those things that like the boring solution also requires a little worse code than if we were going to like rewrite it and write it to be really nice, you know. So I guess what we're struggling with in this review is trying to find the balance between like the boring solution and maintainable code, and it's just taking a little bit longer. Like this is the longest MR I've had, basically. That's it for me.
Great, thank you very much for that, Nick. It's probably worthwhile us all working through how we hand off those sort of back end, sort of somewhat blocking pieces of work. So let's raise that as something we want to address. I've either create an issue in the team repo that we created, the team project, which you should have access to. That's the thing. That's where we ought to do that. So that's going to be an action item from this meeting, I think. Cool. So moving on to what went well. Go ahead, Steve.
This week just felt super productive. Got 2 merge requests through full review and maintainer review, so that felt really good. I'm also seeing how the whole minimum viable change and overall iteration value can be super powerful in keeping up momentum, collaboration, and positivity. Working on the Conan issue. And so Krasimir has been like breaking it up into these tiny little pieces, which like at first I was like, shouldn't that just be part of the main issue? But then as I've been working on, I realized that like it gives you these little wins that like, yes, and finishing things rather than just like constantly working on the same thing again and again. And then it also allows people to work on things together rather than one person trying to do everything. So that's been just really good to experience. And then the third thing, I realized I've been using this a ton and it was somewhere in Slack at some point, someone posted this, but you can set up your search engine or your browser to have little shortcuts for searching the GitLab docs or the GitLab handbook. And it's just like super awesome. I use it constantly.
Nice. Yeah, so as much as I sort of called it out as a negative, I'm calling it as a positive, being able to adjust the way we did for hiring and the people on the team. So it's been pretty awesome to be able to say, reach out to a couple of other teams and excuse me, everyone's hiring, which is great. So being able to say, hey, there's 2 awesome people. Will these people work for you in your team? And having those other managers go, yeah, that's amazing. It saves us time of hiring, and those people are already great. So, you know, that feels really good to be able to have that opportunity to do that. Second, I think I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it, which is to say that I'm really impressed with the team. Everyone's been doing a great job and working really hard. The feedback from other parts of the business has actually been positive. So as much as we all might feel like we could improve and we can get better, and we always can, you know, so far everyone's, you know, the feedback I've been getting is that we've all been doing a great job getting through work, actually adding value for our customers, delivering what we need to. So awesome job, everyone. Thank you so much. And then the last one for me, I'm pretty happy that finding a good GitLab-y way to start sort of working through some of these team efforts that we want to follow. So issue weights is one where, you know, how we want to address issue weights. I definitely am leaning towards the side of like, let's keep it pretty lightweight. Sorry, low effort issue estimations, and also prioritization, how we look at, you know, bugs or, you know, other technical work that we might need to do other than feature work. So it's cool to be able to say, hey, let's create a project, put them in there, let's all discuss there so we can discuss asynchronously. So pretty happy about that. Nick?
Cool. Yeah, so for me, two small ones for me, but I did have a really good week overall. So my GitLab UI component changes got merged, which I'm really happy about, because that's just sort of like another GitLab project where I now understand the development process and how to contribute and how to move that forward. So that's really, really cool. And then I also, yeah, just today, in fact, performed my first review of somebody else's MR. So that's really cool as well. Like, you know, I wondered when that was going to happen, but yeah, me and John were just talking about it yesterday, and I was like, I haven't got any yet, so I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, 1K through, and yeah, it's really cool.
I think that's it. I've created an action item, as I mentioned, assign it to you, Nick. There's a link there to where to create that issue. So definitely would love to see more than just me creating issues in there. That I think that would be helpful. Other than that, I think that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And if you want to, you could have a great weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.